And welcome to a very special edition of the Shadow Gallery. I'll be again your host, James Donnelly. And tonight, what I mean by special edition is that it's not going to cover any comic books, nor any games, but it is going to cover this summer movie season and what's coming up. What inspired me, of course, as I'm sure that some of you probably already know, is the Super Bowl, which is not to say I'm not a sort of football fan. I am a sort of football fan. I'm a Bears fan. I come from Chicago, so I'm not in Chicago. But I come from Chicago, so naturally any team that takes down the Packers is fine with me. Unfortunately, they won, but I was really, it was not a game for me to watch. I actually watched the commercials. I had the full intent of coming home, and after I'd actually DVR'd the game with the intent of just watching the commercials. But my DVR got fucked, and for whatever reason, it erased what had previously come before, so only caught like the last half hour of the game, by which then most of the big ads had already rolled out. So, of course, the big ad today, because we've already seen the trailer for Thor. And we've already seen the trailer for Cowboys and Aliens, but we had yet to see TV spots for either, or for Transformers 3. So those were, neither here nor there, but it was new footage in some of them. The Thor one, there wasn't much new that I noticed. But the big one, of course, was Captain America, the First Avenger. Now, I... probably right above this, you'll see that I have right above this post on my page at theshadowgallery.info. You'll find an embed for the trailer for the 30-second commercial for the first event for Captain America. I don't really like calling it the First Avenger, but whatever. That's the title of the film. They have to give it a subtitle so they can sell it overseas. So I'm okay with that. I was extremely impressed with what they did as far as however they did it, whatever effects they used to shrink down Chris Evans was pretty amazing in just the stuff that I saw. I mean, and I'm sure that we're going to see a lot more of that in the film, and I'm hoping that it comes out as convincing as it was in just this 30-second, in like the 10 seconds that you saw of it while it was in that commercial. Because, I mean, before he becomes Captain America, Steve Rogers is this skinny little wimp, who has too much heart to not be in the army to fight in the war. I know a lot. We saw a brief glimpse of the Red Skull. So I mean that in and of itself, so the skinifying of of Chris Evans was very, very impressive. They used a similar effect, but in a very, very brief period of time in the original Spider-Man film, where you see Tobey Maguire. He's pretty skinny, but that's like 2 seconds that you see that. And in this, I think we're going to see a lot more of that skinny, short Steve Rogers before he becomes the tall, intensely muscled Captain America. So, again, very, very brief glimpse. If you blinked, you missed it, of the Red Skull. I know that a lot of the fanboys are going to be upset that he's fighting Hydra. instead of the Red Skull being a Nazi. But Hydra is, they're basically, they're basically the Nazis uh, of the the Marvel universe, if you will, as far as their own creation. Um, I'm sure that at one point or another there will be a confrontation uh, between Captain America and German and Nazi soldiers. I'm relatively certain that it's going to happen. So, um, so anyway, going after, so I was very impressed with what I saw. I was really, really hoping for a full trailer because they've done it. They've done that before. So I mean, it's not unheard of that they'll premiere a trailer, a full-length trailer, even if it's just a 1-minute teaser during the Super Bowl. So felt a little cheated, but that's okay because I'm sure that a full-length trailer is forthcoming. I'm sure the demand for that will now have been increased by quite a bit. Um, so as far as this summer's releases, the summer's movie releases, I think that obviously since it's summer, a lot of reboots, a lot of a lot of remakes, a lot of sequels. That's pretty much most of what we're in, and a lot of comic book movies. I mean, that's been the trend since Spider-Man became kind of box office king for that year. Since then, they've been pumping out comic book movie after comic book movie, which has been both a good and a very bad thing in some respects. Because you'll occasionally get The Dark Knight, and then you'll occasionally get League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is just garbage. I think that we can all agree on that. But this summer, and summer films are beginning earlier than they used to. Used to be Memorial Day weekend was when stuff came out. So that's changed now. Now it's going back as far as the beginning of April to start to get the summer movies out. Now, so this year we've got the first kind of summer movie is Scream 4, and that's April 15th. I don't care unless I see some really, really positive buzz about it. I'm really not going to care that much. Having seen all the originals and seeing them all I think on opening day. I have a lot of love for the Scream films, but this one, I don't know. I just don't know. Then a couple of weeks after that, May 6th, you've got Thor. Thor, of course, I'm really looking forward to. It's got a really good cast. I've yet to see Chris Hemsworth in anything of real import, as far as like a major role. But I think that he's going to be, he certainly looks the part. I think I think that Kenneth Branagh has a really good eye for actors. For the most part, I think he's made a misstep here and there. But for the most part, I think that he's a pretty smart guy, and I think that especially with him directing, I think it's going to have a really interesting look and feel to it. Naturally, and it being an origin film, always kind of I tend to be very that's a make or break, obviously. And origin films are always interesting the way that they play out. So we're going to be back in just a few moments with part 2 of this segment. So stick around.